right. So good morning, everybody. And I think my lighting is off, so I'll be fixing that in hopefully the next 5 minutes. But today we're going to talk about sex and Valentine's Day and do's and don'ts, expectations, and not, and it is a leap year. And so I had always heard that in leap year for Valentine's Day, it becomes the um female's responsibility to execute on leap year. Yeah. And but that's based on kind of a historical heterosexual relationship that where usually the guy is initiating and giving all of this wonderfulness to his female partner. And so now that our culture has evolved, we can probably talk about those differences and does that need still need to stand? And if so, how? Of one person being the giver the majority of the time. And then every leap year, which comes how often? Every how
four
often?
4
years.
years.
At 4 years. Then the receiver turns around and is the giver. And then I know how Valentine's Day got started. Actually, I think I used to know. Actually, I forgot. In general, I'm thinking it was Rome, and I'm not sure. So if y'all know, tell me
I've
that
been Googling it.
yeah, that they were sending their soldiers off to war and off to conquer all of the other nations, and they did not want the men to get married because
Hmm.
then they would like have to come back home to their wives, and they did not want that at all. They did not want to get those young men to get married. And then there was like one saintly priest that was like, if the kids want to get married, let's marry them. And so he started marrying them, and his name was Saint Valentine or Mr. Valentine. And so,
Oh.
hence, we have a Valentine's Day because he wanted love to be celebrated and the people to get married. So,
Mhm.
is that what you've been researching?
Yeah, so the Catholic
Okay.
Church recognizes at least three different saints named Valentine. And then Emperor Claudius II decided that single men made better soldiers than those with
Yep.
wives and family.
Mm-hmm.
Claudius Valentine defied that and performed marriages for lovers in secret.
Yep.
And then he was killed. So
I knew somebody was gonna die.
yeah, I mean, like there's the Valentine's Day massacre. So like there's a lot
Yeah,
of
Oh my
mixed
God, there's a massacre?
history.
there's a
Uh-huh.
massacre.
Golly.
What?
Okay. I don't remember that, but it's been a long time since I did the research. I did
Natalie,
the
you have
research and
video
like,
ball.
yes, because I had to fix my lighting and I didn't want to be like, all over
Oh,
the
okay.
camera. And so now I'm back. And do I look brighter?
Yes.
Brighter
And
days
Jessica's
ahead.
here. Both Jessicas are
Yes.
here.
Yeah. So, all right. What would you guys say to your clients regarding Valentine's Day?
Who would you like to go first?
Jessica Addison, you just got here. Let's just throw you in
Yeah.
there. Let's just throw you out there first.
In terms of what? Like, did I miss anything or
No, you haven't missed a thing. Just tell me
okay.
like, and so Valentine's Day is coming. If you had all
Hmm.
your clients sitting in a room, what would you say? I want you guys to know this so that next week in therapy we aren't talking about this. What would you say?
Well, first, I would want to know what does Valentine's Day mean to them because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have different definitions of Valentine's
Mm-hmm.
Day. A lot of people really don't see why Valentine's Day is important because they say we've been doing this all year. So
Mm-hmm.
seeing the significance of Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
how have they celebrated it in the past? Is there
Yeah.
anything they want to do differently? Is there anything that we can do? And Valentine's Day is like the perfect day to do it. To
Mhm.
exercise some things that they may be struggling with
Mm-hmm.
intimacy or connection. And this is kind of like the perfect time to add more, I want to say
Mm-hmm.
insult to injury because it's Valentine's Day. Um,
But it could happen.
being that we have massacres and stuff. Is there anything that we want to emphasize on more? And this is the perfect time to do that on Valentine's Day. And for
Okay.
our working couples, like it's on a Wednesday. So you have Wednesday, you have the weekend, you have a lot of time to
Right.
get some
Mhm.
stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. All right, I'm going around my screen. Taj.
Yes.
If you had your clients in
Um,
front of you and you wanted to educate them on something regarding Valentine's Day, so y'all don't wind up having to deal with this next week in therapy, or the week after next in therapy, what would you say?
I would speak to my single client, because I know Valentine's Day can be tough
Mm-hmm.
for especially single clients who care about
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
And so I would speak to emotionally regulating jealousy,
That's a
and
good one. Yeah.
just like if you experience that during Valentine's Day, just to you know talk to yourself about what you're
Mm-hmm.
feeling, what you're experiencing, take some deep breaths and lead with love anyway. So
That's a good
can I
one.
tell a quick personal story, very short?
Yes.
Because I'm speaking to past Taj,
Uh-huh.
right? Because I was that jealous girl. I remember I was a pre-K teacher. Don't ask me why I did that, but I did. I was a pre-K teacher, and I saw a lot of the other teachers get big balloons and teddy bears
Mm-hmm.
and chocolates and stuff on Valentine's Day. And I was single, not even talking to anybody. And
Yeah.
I felt myself get mad. I was just like, just Grinchy Grinch. And like, even my kids, like, I'm a pre-K teacher and you're supposed to do like cute heart stuff with kids. I was not here for it. I wasn't. I was mad, and I was the
Mm-hmm.
Grinch on Valentine's Day, and other people noticed. They commented on my energy, and suddenly I'm that jealous person, and that was my,
Mm-hmm.
persona.
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to when I was in a relationship and I was working in an office, and my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, he sent me flowers, something very simple. He sent me flowers to my job. And this was the first time I had experienced that. And I watched The Office get jealous of me. And I said, whoa, this is what this feels like. This is awful. Like, this is a terrible feeling on both ends. Terrible
Yeah.
feeling on both ends. And so I would just talk to my clients about, if you're experiencing jealousy, if you're feeling jealousy around Valentine's Day, to just, regulate your own emotions, handle them gracefully, try your best not to project that negative energy onto the person who was receiving the Valentine's Day such and such, because in truth you don't know where that gift came from, the energy it came from, why they're
That's
being
true.
sent that.
Yeah.
You have no idea what's going on in that person's life. You might be living a much more peaceful and loving life than they are. And then, when you have a moment to, collect yourself and your thoughts, to give yourself the love that you're
Mm-hmm.
craving from, these other people. So go buy yourself some chocolates, go buy yourself some roses. And I know it may feel weird, it may feel quote unquote desperate, but I promise you it'll make you feel better. That's what I would say.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you eat the chocolate.
Hmm.
When you're eating it, you're okay that you bought it yourself.
Yes.
All
Yes. Your
right,
brain
Jessica.
don't care.
Right? All right, Jessica Renard, what would you say?
Sure. Yeah, I think just being aware of, just because society says it's important doesn't mean it's important.
Oh, let's
Mhm.
say that
Mhm.
part.
And I think that that's really important. Like, my very best friend, she has a fabulous marriage with a wonderful man, and they could not give two flips about Valentine's Day. They celebrate the
Right.
15th, which is discount candy day. So they go
Yes.
out and buy discount candy
Yes.
together, and like that's their ritual. And so it's
Yay.
figuring out what is important to you, what is
Okay.
Yes.
salient for you. This should
Mm-hmm.
not be a day that you need to feel like you need to publicly display your love,
Yeah.
especially if this is the only day you do it. Like,
Mhm.
Mhm.
there's a larger problem there.
Right? Yeah.
Um, and if you do it daily, checking in with your significant other, if you have one, of what their expectations are.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jessica Addison said, it's on a Wednesday. Like, that
Yeah.
may not be the ideal time to celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So figuring out what that looks like for you, figuring out what that looks like for you as a single person or somebody who is
Mm-hmm.
in a relationship, Like it doesn't have to mean what everyone says it means.
Yeah.
Um, and I think focusing on what you're needing in this time and space and giving that giving that to you and
Mhm.
communicating that with your partner, I think is going to be the biggest
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And so I'm kind of going to jump off of that is that expectation piece and knowing your partner. So if your partner is the person that's like, that's just a day that was created by Hallmark and I don't want to like be a part of
Mhm.
the
Capitalism.
system and whatever, then lower your expectations for how your partner's going to participate in that day. All right. Also, if you're married to the person that's like, I love and I love Valentine's Day and I think declarations of love are fabulous, know your partner and conduct yourself accordingly. Like there's got to be a meet in the middle when we have a values clash like that. Also, for those of you guys piggybacking off of what Tosh said, one of my best Valentine's Day was with my girlfriends, where we all
Mm.
did almost like a kind of a Secret Santa type Valentine's Day. And we went to Longhorn and like ate a really nice dinner. And it was just a really wonderful memory. So I'm gonna say romantic love is only one type of love to celebrate, and there's so many other loves that you can celebrate. And so if romantic love isn't present for you this Valentine's Day, please pick all the other ways in your life in
Mm.
which love is there and figure out how to celebrate it. If you choose to celebrate it, again, it's just one day. Um, and it did come from, we heard the origin story at the beginning of romantic love essentially being fought for, fighting for romantic love. But it's still love. And so we can figure out how you want to celebrate it. Okay. All right. What else is coming up for you guys? What's coming up with me is people who are like, if this doesn't happen on Valentine's Day, then I'm gonna da 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 da. And so please can I stay away from the ultimatums? And just kind of knowing, pay attention to the situation of what's going on. Ask some questions, get into some conversations. My supervisor loves to say, get curious, not furious,
Mm.
of what's going on for you. And yeah, just making sure we stay in conversation with that. Yes, Jessica.
So,
Um, oh,
Oh, I'm
I
sorry,
don't
I
know which
forgot. Okay.
Jessica.
Jessica Renard, and then I'll come to Jessica Addison. Sorry.
Okay.
yeah. So, potentially a slight change of topic, potentially
Okay,
going right
let's go
into it,
for it.
depending on what that looks like. I've got my 8 Rules of Love book talk this
Mhm.
evening at
Mm.
6:30 for the Date 101 masterclass. And why I think that this is really important, especially around the talk of Valentine's Day, is the 8 Rules of Love goes from single to single. So, like, it includes rule 1 is about being single, and rule 8 is about being single. And so, figuring out that whole lifespan. And so, there's a place for you
Oh,
and love, regardless of in a relationship or not in a relationship. And so I think that
yeah.
that can be really important. So just kind of
Oh,
wanted to plug that. It's at 6:30. It's online. You can find it through Meetup. It's the Dating 101 Masterclass group, and then the 8 Rules of Love book review event at 6:30 Eastern tonight.
will you give us a little taste of like what step one is? All right, what
Oh
rule
yeah,
one
step
is?
rule 1 is the difference between solitude and loneliness. It's figuring out,
Oh,
and this kind
yeah.
of speaks to what Tosh said of what are you lonely or are you in solitude? And so solitude is kind of what we're shooting for, in that
Mm-hmm.
I am alone, but I am not lonely. And
Mm-hmm.
I am fulfilling myself and I am meeting my own needs and I'm making
Mm-hmm.
sure that I know what I like and what I don't like. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
preparing for that relationship so that I already know where my boundaries are. Already know where my
Mm.
values and priorities are. And then I can
That's
bring
really
that
good.
into a potential relationship with someone else.
Oh, wow. That's great. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
All right,
Wonderful.
Jessica Addison.
That's just, oh my God, I don't know if it's a Jessica thing, because like I was gonna touch on that and like what Taj said, and because I'm single myself. So I was just going to say like self-love is the best love, and whatever relationship you have with yourself is what you
Mm-hmm.
bring into a relationship. And I tell people a lot of times, a quote that I heard, if you're happy with yourself, you'll never be alone. So I advocate for solo
Mm.
dates, like research an area, make sure it's safe, but go out on a solo date and get in tune with yourself. And while I was scrolling on social media, I came across a quote that kind of spoke to me about like past Jessica and things I used to do and where I am now in my solitude and finding out what I like. And it said, never go back to less because you're impatient about what's better.
Mm,
That's really
So
good. That's really, really
you
good.
really need to
thank you.
see and have that alone time, like Jessica Renard said, to see what do I like and what I don't like. And when you really get in the depths of that, a lot of triggers, a lot of exes that might pop up or what have you, you can kind of discern like, I'm not, it's not really dominant as it used to be in my story,
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. So this is the perfect time to kind of see things for where they are and where you want them to be.
Yeah. How do you
Mhm.
think a person would know whether they're in solitude or they're lonely?
I think, like I said, certain triggers that used to influence their next move, they know it didn't
Mm-hmm.
come from those influences, it came from them.
Give me an
Like
example.
they were, okay, gosh, let me be real transparent. Okay. Um,
Okay, you don't have to be transparent, or you like give it a little
it's
distance,
okay.
but
Be
yeah.
transparent. It's okay. I used to get really, really angry, like when I was younger, and I would have like birthday parties, and only people that were there were family and not like
Mm-hmm.
friends. And my mom used to like, Jessica, it's okay, da da da. But me being this person who's really gotten to know who she is, like the whole thing about birthdays, I say it's not even about other people, it's about me and me
Mm-hmm.
celebrating when I came into the world. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't want people around me that I have not had the other 364 days of the year. And you guys are just
Ooh.
coming for this day. The same thing with Valentine's Day, what Jessica Renard said. If you haven't been showing me love and affection the other 364 days of the year, why is it so special? And how can I really savor this moment when I know it's
Mm.
just this one day and then we're going to go back to the regular scheduled program the next
Mm-hmm.
day and we're
Mm-hmm.
back in therapy and it's like nothing has happened. There's no authenticity in it. And I think
Gotcha.
at this point of my life, and I think everyone should want, if they're in this solitude moment, is authenticity so they can feel and know that it's real and not
Yeah.
Yeah.
have to go back to square one. Because how hard will it be to know I put in all this work and I still have gotten nowhere. And I'm in this
Mm-hmm.
hamster wheel of
Mhm.
emotions.
That's really good. Okay, Jessica
Mhm.
Renard, you're really shaking your head. So what's coming up for you for you?
Yeah, it's just that intrinsic motivation. I think so many times people look to external sources,
Mm.
and that, especially in the winter, like I've had a lot of clients that are like, "Oh, the weather." And I'm like, "Yeah, we can't control the weather." So like the
Mm-hmm.
things that we need to control are inside us and figuring out how we make ourselves feel good. Because again, if
Mm-hmm.
we're constantly looking for another person, if we're constantly looking for society to say, "Yes, you are worthy," or "Yes, you are good enough," or
Mm-hmm.
"Yes, you are doing the thing," like you'll never be good enough. You'll never
Mhm.
get there. You'll never get that validation. And like at a certain point you just have to give it to yourself regardless. Like I also had some clients that um they were like, "Oh yes, we've earned this. We deserve this because we've worked for it." And I was like, "You deserve it. Period." Like
Mm.
you don't have to
Mm.
work for it. You have intrinsic worth. There
Yeah.
is worth in you regardless of how much you've hustled and how much
Mm-hmm.
you like, period. Yes,
Yeah.
Taj, absolutely. So like please don't look towards external circumstances to feel that worth. You are worthy. You are good enough.
Great. All right, Taj, what do you want to jump in there and say?
Um, I agree with everything you wonderful women have said. Um, but I kind of wish Valentine's Day didn't have all of this pressure because, like, who
Yeah.
puts pressure on St. Patrick's Day? You know, either either
Right.
you care or you don't care. And if somebody pinched me because I'm not wearing greens, then I'm squaring up. It's just I don't I don't you know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think because, as a society, we put so much pressure on being in romantic
Mm-hmm.
relationships and
Yeah.
so much validation, external validation comes from being in romantic relationships or
Yeah.
not being and the judgment that comes from it.
Mm-hmm.
Just how Valentine's Day got so pressurized. But it really does not need all of this pressure. It doesn't at all.
Right.
And so I would just say, on a personal level, because unfortunately we can't take the pressure away from society, it's too many people. But
Yeah.
on a personal level, if you could just, you know, just let the pressure out, let some air into it, and just
Mm-hmm.
let it breathe a little bit, I think it would be
Mm-hmm.
more enjoyable. Like another personal note, my best Valentine's days have been in my marriage because we like 2 weeks ago, me and my husband were like, "Do you want to care this year?" I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "Okay, cool, me neither." And that was it. That was our
Yeah.
conversation about
Yeah.
Valentine's Day. But last year, we had the same conversation. I was like, "Yeah, I think it'd be cute." And we just did something cute. And that was it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was it. So
Yeah.
like we
I
really,
got you,
well,
Jessica.
he diffused the pressure from me because I was pressed. Younger Taj was pressed, but like having a conversation that kind of diffused all that pressure, just
Mm-hmm.
let that pressure out, was very helpful. So I encourage those that are listening, whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, just kind of take the pressure off. It's
Yeah.
literally one day.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah. I kind of want to say, like, give yourself permission not to follow the crowd. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We can set this one out. All right, Jessica
Mhm.
Addison.
I did want to speak to our clients who may not be single, but might be widowed or might have lost a loved one as well, to
Yeah.
where
Good
we can
point.
kind of look to see where else are we getting that love and that connection. And that's where we can
Mm-hmm.
go with those friends to go out, or maybe our children or other family members or siblings to kind of
Mm-hmm.
where do you get your love from?
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, like Tata, if you want to care
Mm-hmm.
around this time, let's just emphasize where we're getting that love from, and just thank them for being there.
Yeah. So I want to take
Mm.
that one step further. Um, if you are feeling like, okay, I don't have somebody who loves me the way I want to be loved, I want to make sure that you go out and you're giving love to people. You know,
Mm,
Mm.
that you are
mhm.
sowing those seeds so that they will so that you can reap a harvest in your life. Okay, Jessica Renard.
That's rule 8.
Okay. All right. And I think from times that I've sown those seeds, the return has been, I feel like almost immediate, you know, of showing somebody else love, showing somebody else appreciation, showing somebody else the thing you'd like to receive. So, I mean, so well. But definitely make sure you're sewing. Okay. In our last 3 minutes, any last comments that y'all want to say to anybody?
Sure, just kind of touching again on the
Mm-hmm.
what you were talking about of giving love, being aware that there are some people that are very, very difficult to love and they are searching for
Mm,
love.
yeah.
And so kind of going back to the book talk, rule 8, he introduces the radius of respect and how sometimes we need distance in order to send that love, because if they're
Mhm.
too close, then it's toxic and it's not love anymore.
Oh,
Mhm.
that is a whole nother topic. Wow.
Mhm.
Okay, we gotta talk about that.
That's really
Okay.
good.
I'm trying my best to remember for us to talk about that next week. It's like so good. Okay. All right. Well, that's it for today. So I'm going to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day. And then for some of you guys, the bigger holiday that's coming up is the Super Bowl. So, so I'm going to wish you a happy Super Bowl. And yeah, I'm sending y'all all the joy, all the light, all the love. Y'all have a great day.
Thank you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.